Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. Today we are mapping out a truly epic cosmic blueprint of the end times, strictly based on the concordant texts. We're going to break down the intense, frankly chaotic transition from what the texts call the third eon right into the fourth eon. We are talking about a period absolutely packed with global deception, massive shifts in universal authority, and ultimately a really dramatic restoration. It's a lot to cover, so let's just dive right in. All right, so here is our roadmap for today. We'll start by pinpointing exactly where we are in the current era. Then we'll track the rise of the ultimate deceiver, navigate through a time of literally unprecedented global affliction, witness the forceful binding of dark spiritual forces, and finally arrive at the dawn of the fourth eon. Starting things off with Section 1, the present Evil Eon. So to really grasp this prophecy, we've got to figure out where we actually are right now. The texts neutrally define our current reality as the third eon, or, a bit more ominously, the present evil eon. It's an era sandwiched strictly between two massive global events. It was kicked off by the ancient deluge in the past, and it's bounded in the future by the day of wrath. That means everything happening in human history right now, it's all wedged right into this specific chaotic little window. When you take a step back and look at the macro view of this divine calendar, you start to realize that history isn't just, a series of random accidents. It's actually a deliberate, highly structured sequence of 5 totally distinct eons. With that massive scale in mind, let's zoom in on exactly how our current era, this third eon, is prophesied to actually end. Now, a massive key to unlocking this timeline is a secret, highly anticipated event called the Snatching Away, or the Ascension of believers to meet the Lord in the air. And we have to be clear here, this is totally separate from Christ's later, highly visible return to earth. But here's the critical part to remember. After this Snatching Away happens, we are still in the third eon. And honestly, that is when things go completely off the rail. Which brings us to Section 2, the rise of the Antichrist. Following that secret ascension, boom, a massive power vacuum opens up, pushing mortal misrule to its absolute limit. Enter the Man of Lawlessness, the Antichrist. And his strategy, it's a brilliant, terrifying deception playbook. Think of it like modern political populism just on absolute steroids. Instead of coming in with fire and brimstone, he exploits the global chaos by promising immediate health, wealth, and worldly relief. He steps into a godless world and successfully deceives the entire inhabited earth, literally playing the role of the ultimate savior to absolute perfection. Moving right along to Section 3, the Day of Indignation. So, that false peace the Antichrist sets up, it totally shatters. We enter the violent conclusion of the third eon, a period the text called the Day of Indignation. Now, people often picture the end of the world as this instantaneous split-second flash, right? Like in the movies. But the texts make a really fascinating distinction here. While the consummation is a final endpoint, this conclusion is actually a protracted, agonizing harvest period. It's a literal season of global plagues, judgments, and undeniable divine intervention that marks the final chapters of our current age. Next up, Section 4, the binding of Satan. As the third eon reaches its violent, absolute breaking point, human systems collapse, and the Antichrist's whole deception is completely exposed. It's here that the text targets the root cause of the turmoil, and it uses incredible physical imagery from the book of Revelation. I perceived an angel descending out of heaven, having the key of the abyss and a large chain in his hand, and he lays hold of the dragon and binds him. I mean, wow, the puppet master is finally forcefully apprehended. And get this, his sentence isn't just indefinite, it is highly specific. The text dictates that Satan is locked and sealed in the abyss for exactly 1,000 years. This halts his deception of the nations completely. It essentially wipes the slate clean, prepping the world for a brand new era. This is where we find a really profound, almost mechanical view of the devil in these texts. He isn't presented as some equal, rogue rival to God, not at all. Instead, his binding and his very existence as the chief adversary is presented as a deliberate, sovereign act. He is quite literally an instrument made to play the supreme opponent in these Eonian plans, right up until the exact second his authority is officially revoked. And that leads us straight into Section 5, the dawn of the fourth eon. Okay, so with the adversary locked away, all that crazy apocalyptic tension just evaporates. The global judgments conclude, and we cross the threshold into the fourth eon. The contrast here is staggering. The failed human governments and active deceptions of the third eon are entirely replaced by Christ's direct reign. The transitory evil that was permitted in the past is meticulously transformed into permanent, structured good. Let's break down this complete structural inversion of the universe's authority. In the third eon, mortal men and the Antichrist ran the show. But in the fourth, it's the Messiah King. The spiritual forces shift from rampant wickedness and deception to total silence, locked in the abyss. And the ultimate result of all this? We transition from the most unprecedented global affliction in history right into a literal 1,000 years of uninterrupted peace. Zooming back out to the grand divine calendar, this millennial reign fits absolutely perfectly into the Aeonian blueprint, but it's totally crucial to realize that this isn't the final state of eternity. It is specifically the fourth stage. Think of it as a massive, 1,000-year stepping stone, meant to completely rehabilitate humanity and the earth itself. So, what does daily life actually look like in this new era? Well, it's highly administrative and completely transformed. Christ reigns globally. Israel steps up to administer the executive earthly kingdom, while the saints actively lead society to a true knowledge of God. And with Satan bound, his demonic subordinates, they are entirely neutralized. It's a fully restructured, peaceful global society. But wait, just when you think the story has reached its permanent, happily ever after, the texts throw us a massive theological curveball. The timeline explicitly states that after the 1,000 years, Satan must be loosed again for a little time. Think about that. If God deliberately bound him to usher in an era of perfect peace, why on earth would he intentionally release the ultimate deceiver back into the world? It really forces us to re-examine the very purpose of evil, and it leaves us eagerly wondering what could possibly happen in the final, fifth axion.